Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. With the recent success in the election, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has quite a few positions to fill. The recently vacated positions in the cabinet after the European Parliament elections are soon to be filled, and Aleksandra Zarzycka has been exploring the most hotly tipped names for the roles.
The rumour mill has included many names as potential ministers and deputy ministers. The post of Minister of Internal Affairs, succeeding Minister Brudziński, is likely to be taken by current Deputy Minister Paweł Szafernaker. There are a few other names under consideration, such as Krzysztof Sobolewski, Elżbieta Witek or Michał Dworczyk. The post filled by Elżbieta Rafalska is likely to be taken by the current Deputy Minister Stanisław Szwed or Elżbieta Witek. The post of Education Minister, held by Anna Zalewska, might be taken by an MP of the Polish Parliament, member of the Parliamentary Education Committee, Dariusz Piątkowski, or Marzena Machałek, the current Deputy Minister of that branch. There is also a possibility that Beata Szydło and Beata Kempa posts will have no replacements and their responsibilities will be delegated to various other departments. The Deputy Speaker of the Senate did not rule out the possibility that the changes in the government will be broader than the posts freed by the new EU MPs. There has been speculation regarding Finance Minister Teresa Czerwińska. She was supposedly skeptical about financing the new social programs announced by the governing party. Who then will direct the country's finances? Jan Banaś, the present Deputy Minister of that branch, or Jacek Sasin, who has distanced himself from the rumours. It is also possible that the Prime Minister will take this post as well as maintaining his current positions. The Minister of Sports will take his new post at the World Anti-Doping Agency soon. He might be replaced by the current Deputy Minister Anna Krupka. So, with just a few hours before the end of the term of the government, there will be some big changes in the Polish cabinet. This is not an easy task. I think that the seasoned politicians will avoid taking over such ministerial posts because they are just for 5 months. We can rather count on people from the back row. For them to be a minister would be a nice finish to their political career, despite the fact the post will last just a few short months.
Tę funkcję będą pełnili tylko kilka miesięcy. To jest ostatnie parę miesięcy.
To take such post is important from the perspective of running in the fall elections for a seat in the parliament. More visibility, more exposure in the public eye increases the chance of being elected.
Większego możliwości.
The discussions are taking place at the headquarters of the Law and Justice Party. The final announcement is expected any day, but it now seems likely that the final cabinet will be known early next week. Outgoing ministers have by law 2 weeks to leave their current positions.
Donald Tusk did not appear before the Parliamentary Commission on VAT extortion today. The President of the European Council is currently leading an EU delegation in South Asia. The Commission have allocated a new date of June the 17th for the hearing.
According to the justification sent in at the last minute to the committee at 8:50 a.m, the President of the European Council is on a foreign visit, which is a part of his duties. Therefore, he could not be here today. Monday, June 17th was the closest possible date. However, in hindsight, that may not be the final concrete date.
Former Finance Minister of Poland, Mateusz Szydło, is due to be investigated by the state prosecutor after the Parliament's Commission's decision to investigate VAT fraud. Szydło has been charged with failing to perform his duties in overseeing the operation of the VAT system. According to experts, VAT fraudsters stole from the Polish state budget around a quarter of VAT income between the years 2008 and 2014. After yesterday's European Union summit, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki said that the Polish government is in contact with all the important political powers distributing the political positions within the EU institutions. The decisions are likely to be made over the upcoming weeks.
I spoke with many European prime ministers and we agreed that this division, which came as a result of many more different parties entering the European Parliament, is a hint towards the main parties regarding the search for optimal candidates. Here I must preempt questions about particular candidates. We did not speak about specific names. In fact, we did not mention any names at all. We only spoke about the process itself, the procedure of selection. We agree on a process process which would ensure the choices we've made earlier, but that would imply the need for very quick deal-making among individual parties within the European Parliament. Nevertheless, it is the political, economic and budget priorities that are of most importance to us.
To by oznaczało konieczność bardzo szybkiego dogadywania się.
The sharp turn to the left of the European coalition's programme probably cost the party defeat in the European Parliament elections. It also caused the Polish People's Party to be marginalised within the Polish political scene. The coalition of various opposition parties seems to have broken down, as many political observers have pointed out that the biggest member of the coalition, Civic Platform, will probably leave the movement to save as many voters as they can before the parliamentary elections in autumn.
The European coalition's defeat in the European Parliament elections has left a question mark over the future of the party.
To jaki będzie ostateczny kształt
We probably
koalicji?
know what will happen to the European coalition sometime in the future. Today is the time for drawing conclusions, reflections and preparing the future
I czas
strategy.
ustalenia strategii na przyszłość.
Ruling Law and Justice Party politicians are deeply skeptical towards the European coalition remaining in its current state until the parliamentary elections in autumn. The parties, such as the Modern Party and their representatives on their party lists, but I highly doubt that the whole project is salvageable for one simple reason. It's so incoherent in its program and full of contradictions that it doesn't provide the chance to build wide social support.
Że nie daje możliwości zbudowania bardzo szerokiego poparcia społecznego.
The opposition's defeat is more unpleasant for the soon-to-be former president of the European Council, Donald Tusk, for whom a good outcome was supposed to serve as a boost for the presidential campaign next year.
Donald Tusk, jak z kolei wiemy, lubi tylko wygrane sprawy i
As we know, Donald Tusk only likes victorious cases, and it's pretty ironic considering the fact that it's his supporters who will be waiting for him more, and he won't be so eager to come back now, and it's no wonder. Why would he come back? For the coalition, which in the prime of its mobilization lost the elections, we also saw that the so-called Tusk effect hasn't really worked, in fact actually helped the Law and Justice
to ten
Party.
tak naprawdę koalicji się nie opłaci, żeby on wrócił. No to tylko, że chyba koalicja zostaje bez takiego oczywistego przywódcy w tej chwili.
On June 4th, on the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the first government after the fall of communism, Tusk is predicted to announce in Gdańsk the creation of a new political movement.
The Polish Minister of Family, Labour and Social Policies, Elżbieta Rafalska, announced the government's proposition for next year's minimum wage today. The current level is 2,250 zloty per month, with a minimum hourly wage of 14 zloty and 70 grosze. That's around nearly €4.
Nasza propozycja, którą dzisiaj...
Our proposal today, which will be debated by different ministries, concerns the raising of the minimum wages next year by 200 zloty. So the current minimum wage of 2,250 zloty will be raised to 2,450 zloty. Until 2018, the Law and Justice Party has raised the minimum wage by 500 zloty, and in 2020 we will have raised it by the aforementioned 200 zloty, making a total 700 zloty increase. This also means that the minimum hourly wage will be raised from 14 zloty and 70 groszy to 16 zloty.
O tym wzroście od 2020 to kolejne 200 zł.
Thank you very much for joining us here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather, followed by Poland Daily Business, Culture, History and finally the travel.
Welcome to Poland Daily Weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for tonight. Clear skies around the Baltic coast. Rainfall is expected only on the southeast. The temperature will range from 3 degrees in Bydgoszcz and Poznań to 10 degrees in Rzeszów. And now over to tomorrow. Sunny weather on the northwest, but on the southeast rainfall will appear. Little rain we will see around Łódź and Warszawa as well. A maximum 21 degrees in Szczecin and Zielona Góra and a minimum 11 in Kraków. The warm weather will continue in the following 3 days. Friday will be quite rainy, especially on the northwest, but in other regions more sunlight will appear. Temperature will range from 18 to 22 degrees. On Saturday, the sun will be shining on the west and in central Poland, while the rest of the country will get alternating rain and thunderstorms. Sunday will be more sunny, with temperatures ranging from 20 to 22 degrees. Thank you for watching and see you soon.
You're watching Poland Daily Business. Tonight our guest is Julian Kulski, Polish architect and city planner whose whole professional career developed in the United States, but was born and raised here in Poland, and his father was a deputy mayor of Warsaw in the 1930s, at the time when the city expanded and had great plans for the future.
I just want to add something that this idea of mine, which I had 30 years ago, is not just my idea. I've seen the Polonian newspapers, more individuals who are calling for it and asking the government to defend the honor of Poland. And I don't keep those articles, but they are available.
Your father, deputy mayor of the Warsaw, was very influential in building the city as the capital of a new Poland. You've been planning new schools, new buildings, new districts. Even a subway was scheduled to be developed in the 1940s. The Second World War cut all those plans, but you are visiting a present-day Warsaw, and what is your impression? Is it the Warsaw of the dreams of your father?
Far from it. About 10 years ago, I was asked by Polish television to go on a tour of Warsaw, and I have expressed my opinion of all the buildings and the positive and mostly negative reaction that I have. Every time I've been back in Warsaw for the last 60 years, almost every year, and I've talked to every mayor of the city, offering my services as a city planner and an architect for free. I've never been asked to do anything, but that's not the point. The point is that during the last 30 years since independence, I'm not going to discuss the Soviet buildings in Warsaw because everybody knows that I had absolute disaster, unhealthy, and they have to be destroyed soon. My problem is that the city is still not planning for the future. What is going to replace those buildings when they are turned down? My father was very involved as a vice president with Starzyński in the rebuilding and planning of Warsaw. They had the leading architects of Poland working with the city hall and planning the future, the great Warsaw, which exists today. This is not what they were planning for. They were planning for another Paris of the East, and building upon the Polish tradition of Polish architecture, Polish history, Polish culture. Right now, downtown Warsaw could be on the moon. I don't know which city I'm in, whether it's Caracas or whether it's Paris or London. There's nothing Polish about it. That's my criticism. The only Polish things are the old city, the new city, the few palaces which have been rebuilt, the parks, fortunately. But I was complaining all along about when, since the independence, some of the historic buildings were being torn down because the developers wanted to put something there, and they were selling the extremely valuable land for peanuts. Also, how many foreign architects were brought in to destroy the city? I give an example as the office building on Piłsudski Square, right? And I mean, it could be, it's an interesting building if it was in the country, but not in the center of historic capital of the Republic of Poland. It doesn't belong there, and there's so many things that are going up. The past mayor was very proud of the skyscrapers. I say, well, every city has skyscrapers, but again, they should be controlled. There's no architectural control, as far as I can see. Every developer, every architect does what they want. And my experience as an architect, and I've worked in 30 countries, I've been professor of architecture and city planning, that architects cannot have a free hand. They have to be controlled, because otherwise they've been monkeys of themselves. They stand on their head, put the building upside down, and they say, oh, how interesting. You know, before the war, if some building like that was constructed in Warsaw, I can assure you that would take Stasiński and my father, the citizens of Warsaw would lynch the developer and the owner that built it, because there was such pride. They were all people who were born and brought up in Warsaw. There was a national pride of the city, which doesn't exist now, because majority of people moved from other parts of Poland, and they don't have the tradition. The tradition has been cut off. Well, that's true of more than just city planning and architecture. It goes to education and culture and everything else.
Is there something like Polish tradition in architecture?
And we have a very good Polish public relations firm. I employ one of them in Warsaw. They are excellent. They've done a great job for me throughout in Europe and in the United States. And they could work together with an American firms, just as well as the government.
How would you describe the idea of Embassy of Poland in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, very much so, very much so. I think that you can say that many of the buildings, the kings of Poland had used Italian architects, but Polish Renaissance, and when I was studying history of architecture at Yale, I wrote a special article about Renaissance, how the Renaissance in England and in Poland, as opposed from the Italian Renaissance, achieved certain national characteristics. And you can see that in Polish Renaissance buildings. Just recently, well, first of all, talking about Washington, changing from Warsaw, I don't know if you have seen the ambassador's residence here. Well, it's one of the beautiful old colonial building, and the People's Republic was smart enough to buy enough land for an additional lot. So it has a beautiful garden. And I was asked to design the addition and remodel when Poland bought the building for $10 million. And my idea was to build a little palace on the water, on a miniature scale, but something Polish here. Well, Kulski and his wife came here, and they hired some third-rate architect in Boston, and they destroyed the historic building by expanding into a big open entertainment center, which just looks more like a Marriott hotel. Again, doesn't have anything Polish in it, and it goes. Right now, I also designed the embassy building about 8-9 years ago, which hasn't been constructed yet, and it's high time that we have a representation here in America, and the nation's capital, which happens to be the world capital.
Julian Kulski, Polish architect and city planner living and working in the United States, was our guest tonight, and that was it for today's Poland Daily Business.
Welcome back to Poland Daily Weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Sunny weather on the northwest, but on the southeast rainfall will appear. Little rain we will see around Łódź and Warszawa as well. A maximum 21 degrees in Szczecin and Zielona Góra and a minimum 11 in Kraków. Let's see the forecast for our continent. On the Iberian Peninsula, temperatures will rise to 30 degrees in Lisbon and 28 in Madrid. In Central Europe, we are expecting more rainfall and thunderstorms. Still warm in the Balkans. There, the temperature will range from 27 to 30 degrees. The highest temperature of our continent will be in Ankara and will range about 32 degrees. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Hello, welcome to Poland Daily Culture. I'm Polina Otterstein.
And I'm John Carter. And today we're here at the Linen Museum in Żeradów. Join us as we find out exactly why this was one of the premier factories during the industrial period.
The Museum of Linen has its headquarters in one of the post-industrial buildings of Bielnik, which was once part of the production complex of the Żeradów factory. The monumental post-industrial spaces of the Linen Museum in Żeradów are closely related to the more than 180-year tradition of the linen industry. The building once housed a branch of the Żeradów printing house of the linen works, which by the end of 19th century had become the most powerful flax factory in Europe at that time, and the products were known and valued all over the world. The building of the museum's headquarters is a historic object, part of a 19th century factory settlement in Żeradów, recognized as a historical monument that is the highest form of monument protection in Poland.
Co my tu mamy? What do we have here?
Tutaj jest stół warsztatowy.
We are in front of a workshop table for screen printing technique, and we are going to be printing some of these canvases in a moment.
Drukować nadruki na tkaninie.
Z tych farb. Using these paints?
Farby typowe drukarskie, także
Yes, those are special printing paints.
Nadruku. Czy życzy sobie?
Would you like to make your own print?
Fajny taki dla siebie.
Tak, ja bym chciała. Yes, maybe the flowery one.
To proszę sobie wziąć kawałek tkaniny.
Please take your canvas, place it here. We are going to be using 3 different colors, so we need 3 templates.
3 takie szablony z kwiatuszkami i tak. Najpierw może od jednego.
Let's start with one so it doesn't get too messy.
Nałożyć sobie, proszę bardzo, szablon na tkaninę.
Please take your canvas, place it here. We're going to be using 3 different colors, so we need 3 templates. Let's start with one so it doesn't get too messy. We place the template on top of the canvas. Depending on what shape we want to have, we turn the template in different angles. I will show you all the steps. Please choose your color.
Wybrać farbę.
Dobrze, to ja może właśnie ten fiolet. I will take purple.
I teraz tak, nabieramy.
And so I will take red. Now we take a bit of paint and form a layer that is not too thick above the flower.
Robimy taką kreskę i to niezbyt grubo.
W tym samym miejscu. Maybe I took a bit too much.
Kwiatem, nad kwiatkiem. Jeszcze.
Go on, go on.
Teraz mamy taki specjalny.
Now we take this special pressing tool and then with one hand we need to be holding the template above the pattern so that the template doesn't move. And now, pressing quite hard, we cover the whole flower with paint.
Pionowo i przejeżdżamy przez nasz wzór.
Like this? If it wasn't quite accurate, then once again, right?
Nie, powinno wyjść.
Yes, great. It should turn out well. Let's put the tool aside for now and take the template of the canvas. It's beautiful.
I teraz tak, jeden szablon odłożymy sobie, dobrze, tutaj na bok.
We will put it aside as well because we won't be using it again. I will use mine.
Korzystam, zrobię dwukolorowy. Teraz tak, drugi.
Now the second template. We should let the flower dry a bit.
Wysuszyć, tak? Kolejność jest taka, ale można to tak zrobić, żeby...
The paint is still wet, so put the template a bit further down.
To ułożyć sobie właśnie w taki sposób, żeby nie dotykał szablon do tkanicy. O, super. I teraz drugi kolor.
And now choose a second color.
Ja zdjęłam niepotrzebnie. Dobra. I teraz drugi kolor. Okej. I to samo.
Okay, and the same procedure.
Like this.
I teraz drugie.
Now we need another tool so that we don't get dirty.
Ubrudzić sobie tak tym kolorem poprzednim. Ja tu przytrzymam. Dobra, jeszcze raz, tak.
Może więcej. Maybe we need some more paint for this one.
Można więcej, ewentualnie stąd.
No, just press a bit harder.
Pociągnąć. O. O.
Now I don't know how it's going to turn out.
Zobaczymy.
We moved the template a bit.
I będzie trochę niewyraźnie.
Well, it still looks good.
To mamy teraz
tak odłożyć.
tak.
And now the last template.
I ostatni.
Dziękuję.
Szablon.
Super, to może czerwony? Thank you. Maybe red. Let's be crazy. And now, here. I wtedy w którym miejscu w tym?
Tak, w tym
Yes, here. Here you go.
Okej. Proszę bardzo.
Dziękuję.
I to samo. Można w drugą stronę.
And now again, the same procedure. But remember to press well so that the whole flower is covered.
By tą farbę dobrze zebrać. Bo jak no do końca. O, i teraz dopiero. I podnosimy.
Dziękuję.
No i pięknie.
Thank you, beautiful. I'm amazed. And now we need to wait so that it dries out. I teraz to trzeba poczekać, aż wyschnie,
To
tak?
czekamy,
Yes, now we need to wait so that it dries. We can't move the template. I always find that the nicest effect stays on the table.
wyschnąć. Powiedzmy, nie wiem, około 15-20 minut, w zależności od...
Now it needs to dry for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the temperature of the air. Sometimes it takes less.
Można sobie przeszyć na maszynie i zrobić z tego ściereczkę.
We can see it on the sewing machine and make a towel or a tablecloth. So that's how the screen printing technique works. We use different templates, patterns or logos of Girardów City.
Chociażby naszego miasta Żyrardów albo właśnie...
And the one over there is also a different one.
Batki.
Here we have this one. It's a gear symbol. It comes in different sizes. We can also use these symbols and put them onto a piece of linen canvas.
Robić jakiś...
Is it also possible to hand paint it?
Yes, one can, but not with the same printing paint. It's quite thick, so it's difficult to apply it with a brush. But acrylic ones are good for hand painting.
To farbami akrylowymi można.
And what if we would wanted to put a pattern on a piece of clothing? Can we use the same technique?
W taki sam sposób, ta sama technika, tyle tylko, że...
If we want to make a print on a shirt, we can use the same technique, but we need to remember to put something in between the layers so that the clothing doesn't get dirty and also that it's solid.
Miękkiego, żeby nie był taki... No...
Also, it has to be something soft so it's easy to spread the paint.
Okay, I understand. And can we do that on different kinds of linen?
Yes, on different kinds of linen and not only. Also on other fabrics, we can use the printing paint. And besides that, we can use special pens to make a nice finishing of our pattern.
artystyczne.
Do you organize such workshops regularly or only on special occasions?
Warsztaty są wtedy, kiedy...
Usually they are being organized for organized trips when people come to see the exhibitions in our museum. We offer the printing workshops, but also more manual ones with the use of linen yarn. We choose the type of workshop depending on the age of the children who are visiting.
Także, no mówię, w zależności od wieku takie są dostosowywane warsztaty.
Super, dziękuję bardzo. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us here at Poland Daily Culture from the Linen Museum in Żyrardów. I'm John Carter.
And I'm Paulina Otterstein, and see you again tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily History. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and today we are here at the Łazienki Royal Park, a special place in the center of Warsaw, the heart of the city. It has many historical events that transpire throughout Polish history, a lot of historical buildings and wonderful places to behold. Thankfully, the place survived the war and was able to provide a place for generations to admire. Together with our guest, we will see all these beautiful places such as the Royal Theatre, the palace on top of the water, and even more. Join us in Poland Daily History, and we will take you on an adventure. I've been staring at it for a very long time, and I still have trouble figuring out either whether or not it's a carving sculpture or is it just a painting. It's like very, I wouldn't say confusing, but very interesting to me.
This is a painting.
It is a painting?
This is a painting.
Not a sculpture, yes. Because it looks really dimensional.
Yes, it's illuminate painting. What is interesting, the royal painter, he was educating in Austria, in Vienna, and he learned there how to paint the paintings with the illusion, like the 3 dimensions.
Oh!
And he could here use his talent for the cartouche of the king, for the coat of arms of the king. And we have more symbolic here on the coat of arms. Above the coat of arms, we have the closed crown. It's symbolizing the independence of the state and the status of the king. And above it, there is a face. There is an interpretation that it can be the Chronos, the god of time, which is looking at the audience. And at the end, we can see the opening shell. Yes, this is the symbol of Venice, because we are in the royal residence, but also the Łazienki were surrounded from all sides by the water. And one of the symbols of the Venus is the water. So we can say that we are in the residence not only of the king, but also in the residence of the goddess Venus. What is also interesting, the theater can accommodate circa about 200 spectacles.
Sure.
Yeah. Officially, king probably was sitting here. I've seen the designs of this original designs of this interior, and here had placed 3 armchairs. But also, king had the box over here. It was the royal box designed only for him. What is interesting, originally there wasn't a door. It was a blind box, and there was a wall for the king's safety. So. King was entering here from the side boxes. You can see the small side doors.
The side doors.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, what is interesting that even these benches, I mean the frames of these benches are original. They are a little bit. They've been made a little bit later, but they are from the time of Alexander II, the Russian Tsar. So they are from the second half of 19th century. Another part of the theater, which is interesting, that we have here between the audience and the stage, we have the orchestra pit. As you can see, it's still using by the musicians. And at the end, the stage. The stage has this same size like the audience. What is interesting that we cannot see it from the sides are enters to the dressing rooms. And I think what is also very rare, very unique, that some parts of the original 18th century machinery survived. 2 wooden pipes survived. The first one was using to make the noise of thunder. The stones were thrown in, and during the falling, they were making the sound.
The crackling sound.
Cracking, exactly. And the second one was used to make the sound of of the rain. In that way, they've been putting in the sand. So during the falling, it was very common to the sound of
recreation of like a raining,
of the falling drops of the rain. Exactly.
So 18th century, 19th century special effects.
Exactly. Another interesting fact about the theater. Theater had two openings. One not official for the king and for his closest courtiers.
Sure.
It was in the 6th of September 1788 because it was the anniversary of the king's election. And like I said, it was only for the small group of the king and the closest courtiers. But the official opening was the 14th of September, because it was 105th anniversary of the Battle of Vienna, when we have stopped the Ottoman Turkish Empire in Austria. King decided to found the sculpture of John III, and also he allowed to create the chivalric tournament. And here at the end was the ballet and the very ceremonial cantata, which was a tribute to the King John III. Another interesting fact that probably in 1791, when Polish National Theatre was in reconstruction, probably here King allowed to giving public performances here in his private theater. And he made something more. The spectacles took place 2 times during the week, and King was paying for the all tickets, so everyone could came here.
It seems to be a reoccurring theme that the king is really benevolent to his people, in a sense that having all this wonderful stuff, he didn't just hoard it by himself. Like I see that in the palace or in this theater, he is known to open up the structures and open up the establishment for even the people to come and enjoy. That's something really admirable.
He wanted to left something after him. And he said he wanted to make the possibility of development for the Polish society, according to especially art and the knowledge. What is interesting, that King, after his death, he wanted to open here in the Łazienki, in the royal baths, the first public Polish museum for everyone. So this is why he was collecting, for example, in the past on the old gallery of the pictures.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Poland Daily Travel. This is a special studio edition. We'll be giving you a sneak preview of locations to come throughout Poland. Some snapshots include the Bieszczady down in southeastern Poland. We'll be moving north to Częstochowa and then up to the center of the country in Torun. Then we'll take you on a little cruise on the Elbląg Canal, one of the wonders of engineering in the 19th century in Europe, and ending up on the coast with Hel Peninsula, Słowacki National Park, and Dębki. So stick with us, and we'll be giving you a fun preview of places that Poland Daily Travel will be visiting in the future. Just to whet your appetite, stay with us on Poland Daily Travel. Why do we do it? We do it for you. I'm Will Richardson, and I'm looking forward to taking you on a journey.
We now are going to move into our first subject, which is
Bieszczady Mountains.
The beautiful Bieszczady. Now, this is a subject close to my heart. What are your main, it's one of my favorite places in the world, not just in Europe or in Poland.
Yeah, you did visit the Bieszczady Mountains many times.
I've been walking in those things, you know, up the things.
Yeah, the hills.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
I could say.
They're not really mountains, are they?
No.
They're
no.
kind of hills. They're large hills, right?
Bieszczady as a place is very, very interesting because it's rather deserted. It's a place that if you are leading a very, very tough life, you are working in a corporation, long hours, and you really, really respect peace, then Bieszczady, this is absolutely a place for you.
It's a great getaway.
Exactly, it's a great getaway. Also, something that's also a bit confirms that Bieszczady is a bit savage, a bit wild, are the things that the people do out there. So you said that you would be climbing these hills. Yeah, they are hills. They are hills. There are a lot of forests there.
A lot of walking trails and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Over 80% of all area are only forests. So absolutely understandable thing is that you're having hunting sessions there. And hunting is a very, very long Polish traditions.
What are you hunting there? What do you hunt there?
Well, at the moment, everything, all the wildlife, like bears, wolves, everything is under protection. So
yeah, you can't. We don't want to kill any wolves.
Arranged thing. So
deer,
most likely,
maybe. Deer.
I mean, deer is also under protection.
They're under protection.
It's only something that you can breed especially for this purpose, like I don't know, a rabbit or something.
Or pigs.
That's let's say rarely.
They're not under protection, are they?
They are not. They are not.
Because there's way too many.
But they are also not a bit of a very demanding target.
You know what I say when I see one of those pigs? You know what I say? Get off my lawn!
Which fully understood, but I can tell you that nobody would actually throw a pig in Bieszczady out of the lawn. We would rather take it on the grill.
Take it home and grill it.
No, absolutely, but that's another case. But hunting, that's one thing. Hiking, one of the most famous shelters, high. I mean, you said that there are not very high mountains, but as high as it can be.
Yeah, I think it's the highest is about how many meters is the high? 2,000 something?
No, not even that. Not
1,500 meters?
Around 1,600.
1,600
as far
meters.
as I know. Yeah.
How many feet is that? Can we do the math?
1 meter is around 3
1.3.
feet.
Yeah, 1.3.
So we are going to just multiply this by 3.
I'm trying to think in terms of high mountain, compare it to mountains, and for example, that would be higher, I think, than any mountain in the UK.
Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's right. Sorry.
Yeah,
you correct me if I'm wrong.
I confirm that it's very, very decent in terms of hiking, but not enough for skiing, snowboarding, or whatsoever. There is no such infrastructure there.
No, not in Bieszczady.
Not in Bieszczady, but except from hunting and hiking, because hiking was something that I was speaking about, you're having this little shelter. The shelter does not have electricity, does not have running water. So it's like if you are a hardcore hiking person that wants to really have an adventure, Bieszczady is a place for you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Great walking, and you can actually get lost out there.
No problem with that.
I took I mean, have you been there a lot of times?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, like me.
But that's enough.
Yeah.
To understand the spirit.
Yeah. No, because I was going to tell a story, but I thought it would be boring if you've been there so many times. Yeah. Just a quick story. Because I stayed in a hunting lodge there. He's a very nice man who does a lot of hunting, and his sons work the place, his wife. He's got a couple of daughters there as well. So the whole family runs there. The whole family runs this place. And he, one morning, very early, my girlfriend and I, we went out at about 5 a.m. with his son, drove out, and then hiked through. I mean, really the wilderness. There's nothing around.
Yeah.
You would see, the only thing that was around, we didn't see any bears or anything. They have them.
But deers, most likely,
We saw deer.
Yeah.
And it was very early in the morning, and just, some very large and quite happy deer sort of sneaking out into the grass, in the valley below. I had some binoculars. So you could see something. And that was really magical, but we walked a lot. I mean, up and down. It was fun. He said sometimes you can see something surprising.
Yeah.
But they have a number of animals there. That was the point of saying this. One, that you can take nice tours out into this really wilderness in a sense.
Yeah.
And this strange eastern corner of Europe.
Yeah.
There's hard to find places like this in Europe nowadays, or anywhere really.
I strongly agree with everything that you're saying, especially but Bieszczady
in the West anyway
will not remain with this character for, I mean, forever, absolutely.
Well, this is what scares me, is I'm almost afraid to talk about it and how nice and amazing it is. A stampede of Dutch moving there and buying houses and
absolutely.
What's happened in France, in Spain and things like that.
Did you know that Bieszczady,
not just the Dutch, but
as a region,
an example.
This is something that I wanted to confirm. Bieszczady has been appreciated, for instance, by a gentleman called Steven Seagal. He's having his house out there bought as well.
Really?
So just as not only Dutch, but also worldwide.
Seagal comes there?
Yeah.
I know Steven Seagal. I met him once when he was...
I did not have the pleasure, but...
He was working on one of his... on a film here.
He's a fan of Poland as well, as yourself, so...
He's a big fan. And he made this film here. It was about sex slavery. And I had been writing stories about this, so a friend recommended me to meet with him. He was extremely nice. He said, good Lord, if I had known we had somebody like this with your experience of investigating this subject, I would have made you an advisor on the film. We could have used your help. I don't know if I could have helped him that much, but it was nice of him to say it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So he has, a lot of people take shots at Mr. Seagal, but I saw him on the, he also said, you can come on the set. This guy comes on the set anytime he wants. So it was nice. But a lot of people take shots at him, but he is a big fan of Poland and other countries to the east. He's a Russian citizen, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate
should have made him a Polish citizen, not a Russian citizen.
But that's, I think, a longer conversation.
It's a longer conversation. Let's not let him dominate.
Just to sum up, I can give you one very interesting thing. Bieszczady, because of the hiking and the whole terrain that they have, which is wild, it's one of the most popular places to arrange marathons and these, let's say, hardcore runs.
You mean running up the hill and down and these long ones?
Have you heard about the Ironman competition?
Sure,
that they were like,
I'm not an idiot. I just appear to be.
No. I can tell you, running at 10 kilometers for me is like a little daily achievement, right? But
do you do that?
I mean,
you don't.
Rarely ever. Rarely ever. But once I'm doing that, I'm very proud. And Ironman is like 42 kilometers. Then you're having the swimming and the bicycle.
Yeah, no, of course.
Out there, they are arranging another type and more advanced and more demanding type of run, which is called as the butcher's run.
Okay.
And you do like
the butcher?
The butcher, the butcher. Butcher, the one that.
You mean like a guy who's cutting meat?
In slaughtery, that works.
Okay, because I thought maybe it could be something
this is so the butcher.
The guy who cuts the meat.
Exactly, run, and it's like I think double of the Ironman's distances. Oh. So this is like really for the people that love to run. This is the place that they should visit definitely.
Wow. Well, that's a Bieszczady, but not only that. So it has great wilderness, great hills for walking, and if you're insane, running, and it has great wildlife, and it's very peaceful. And we highly recommend it. But there's not a lot of Disneyland activity there.
No, infrastructure is not the strongest.
Which is why I like it. Please don't go and build a lot of things in the Bieszczady. We like it the way it is.
Absolutely.
Go and visit and be respectful, as I know all of our wonderful watchers will be when you go there.